Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
Good evening, everyone. Such a beautiful night. Such a pleasure to be here. This is Michael Edley, psychic medium, here with my fantastic co-host, Mary Amy. What is going on, Mary Amy? How are you?
Hi, I'm coming live from New York. This is Mary Amy, a certified intuitive wisdom coach. I'm so excited. Here we are. It's Two Psychics, episode 32. And it's all about oracles, and we have a wonderful guest. Oh, my goodness, she's coming from London. This is going to be an episode with Astraya, International Divine Feminine Mentor. And we are going to be sharing information about what oracles are. And Astraya will be coming on. She's in the green room right now. I'm going to give a little description about her. And I want to remind everyone, now, if you would like to reach out to Astraya, her website is www.astraya.org. And if you would like to meet or speak to my co-host, Michael Edley, it's simply, his website is michaeledley.com. Now, mine is maryamyofficial.com. If you would like to find out information about this episode, you can always go to the page blogtalkradio.com/2psychics, and you can see all of our episodes and listen to them and watch, or not watch them, but listen to them. And also on Facebook, we have a Facebook page, Two Psychics Radio. We have merchandise. We have hats and totes and water bottles on Spreadshop. Now, before we get into our first topic, and I'm going to ask Michael what he's been up to, and we're going to bring on Astraya in just a few minutes, I want to remind everyone that we have some upcoming guests. Next week, October 10th, we have Lou Martin, and he is living in Ireland, and he's an intuitive and a channel. And if anyone would like to get some psychic readings from me, I am living in New York, Westchester, New York. You can come and meet me on November 1st and 2nd. It's from 10 to 5 at the Manor Club in Pelham Manor. It's 1023 Esplanade, Pelham Manor, 10803. It's a holiday boutique. Okay, so Michael, you want to share with us before we get on to our first topic and bring out our guest? Anything new that's been happening for you lately? What's up?
Yes, an exciting day for me today. We finished mastering my new album, so I'm hoping within the next several weeks I'll be able to send anyone that would like a copy of a fabulous meditation CD. It works with binaural tones, hemisync, and a lot of those, I guess, sound healing qualities that we talk about are incorporated into this CD, into this album. So it'll be streaming on all platforms. I'll actually have physical copies if someone still listens to actual CDs, in their car, or that still has a home stereo. I can actually ship that to you. So yes, my actual album is finished being mastered. I was listening to it today, so happy with it. And that will be on all streaming platforms. For anyone that wants to come out and see me at an event, so I will be I will be announcing a couple galleries that'll be coming up. I have a gallery in November, a gallery in December, a gallery in January. So tickets for those will be announced and will be on sale over probably the next 2 weeks. So that's pretty exciting. If you want to come get a little mini reading from me, I'll be available, 2 weeks out, I think. What is that? October 13th, Sunday, October 13th at the Garden State Distillery. If you go to my Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley Facebook page, you can see the links for that. So I'll be doing that. You can come out. I'll be hanging out, doing some stuff at the Renaissance Fair, the Legends of Lore in Lakewood, New Jersey this weekend. That's going to be interesting. It'll be fun. kind of getting into the Renaissance vibe. But yeah, go out to my Facebook page, Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley. That'll have anything coming up, anything listed. Remember, I also do private readings, small groups, galleries, large events. So anything you want, reach out to me, and we can definitely make that happen.
Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to actually spend some time with you again. I know we spoke about doing a video, and I would like to share some interesting circumstances that happened to me, but I'd like to do that after we bring on our guest, because I know she's coming live from London, and it is 12:30 p.m. there, or 12:30 a.m., right? So tonight our topic is oracles. And what exactly is an oracle? Well, we all have this fascination with the future. I mean, here we are, we're psychics, and we can look in any newspaper or magazine, and there's something listed about horoscopes. And people are always wondering, can I get a reading? Can I get my palm read? Can you we had Joan Cara, and she spoke about tea leaves or coffee grinds. So we have this fascination with the future. And that's basically about prophecy, revelation of divine will, divine inspiration. So oracles. And the reason I bring up oracles is I believe that our guest is basically an oracle. So an oracle is known as a priest or priestess, and he or she is a medium considered to be wise and knowledgeable with insightful prophetic predictions and precognition of the future. Now, way back when, I don't know if everyone knows about this, our listeners, there was what was called the Oracle of Delphi. And in the center of the world to Greeks, they were believed to communicate with Apollo, one of the gods, and they gave and were given information and guidance, and they advised humans about war, a person's fate. The Oracle of Delphi influenced political and cultural decisions. There's also another label, which is the Sibyl, who were female prophets or oracles in ancient Greece. The earliest Sibyl, according to legend, prophesied at holy sites, and their prophecies were influenced by divine inspiration. Not predict disasters. They prescribed solutions. A seer is someone who is supposed to be able to, through supernatural insight, to see what the future holds. A person credited with extraordinary moral and spiritual insight. An oracle really means prophecy, a person of great wisdom, or someone who believes to have communication with God or higher, God source or some kind of divine energy. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard some famous prophets would be Nostradamus back in the 16th century, who was an astrologer and prophet. Muhammad, Moses, who God appointed to speak for him. And like I mentioned earlier, horoscopes are astrological charts, and they're representing the positions of the sun, the moon, the planets, and sensitivity of events. And it's based on someone's birth date. And we all know about our zodiac signs. Like I'm a Leo, I'm born in August. And that can be based, your horoscope, on daily, week, month, or year. Would you like to add anything before I introduce Astraya, Michael?
I guess we could just talk a little bit about the current solar eclipse that happened on October 2nd, going in through tonight, October 3rd. And just an interesting time. They say this is a very powerful energetic shift. They say it's an aggressive, people that are into the stars and astrology and follow these energy cycles say this energy is a very aggressive energy at this time. So you shouldn't try to force things. That's what I would say. The energy itself is powerful enough. I think it's definitely a time to kind of sit into the flow, trust the flow. What do they say? Let go, trust the flow. It's not a time where you want to force things. It's not a time where you want to react hastily. So I think it's, definitely one of those periods that we can look for completion, finalizing things that were started. They call it the energy of the phoenix rising. So there's definitely karmic energies that are ending. I think there's karmic cycles that are ending, new connections that could be beginning, new identities. And it's a period of breathing new life into something new, transformation, transforming the beauty of this new energy into new projects, into new, I would say, even learning new skills and trying to understand new aspects of ourselves that we've been searching for, that inward journey. So new identity, breathing new life into those new transformative projects can be very, very powerful right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it with this eclipse. It's a interesting, aggressive energy, so they say.
Well, thank you. All right. This is so interesting. I usually carry with me every time I do a show. I have them all over my home. I have these little polished gemstones, and I carry around Amazonite and crystal quartz and black obsidian and rose quartz. And I have them laying out here where I do this weekly show. And intuitively, I grabbed the pink rose quartz, which are love. And I guess I'm feeling so much love right now because I know that our guest is full of life and she's really a spectacular being. And I'm excited to have Astraya here. I've known her for a number of years. I can't really pinpoint in my mind. It seems like I've known her forever because we do say we are sisters. All right, so Astraya is an international divine feminine mentor. She's an angelic oracle and a medicine channel. She is certified as a yoga teacher, a temple ritual dancer, a holistic health coach, a massage therapist, a Reiki master, and an angelic healer. And Astraya is the visionary creatress of Sistars of Light, a divine feminine global sisterhood movement. And this movement is designed to awaken women to their sexual creative power, innate womb, wisdom, and medicine and magic, to share their legacy of radiant light with the world. Now, Astraya leads divine feminine transformational pilgrimage, retreats, trainings, and mentorships. She is devoted to assisting the resurrection of our beloved Divine Mother. She is called to bridge the separation to the Divine Mother within, reconnecting women to their cosmic womb for birthing their crystalline earth and golden age. She invites you to join her global priestess, Sistarhood collective for healing the integration of feminine and masculine through the birthing portal of women's womb. Maybe she'll even share one of her little meditational exercises, and she's done that for me, and it really is highly beneficial. Astraya believes in every woman fully reclaiming their womb sovereignty and divine feminine power. The global issues of war, greed, anger, and polarity will cease. This is a global prayer and worship to the soul remembrance of the sacred beings, evolving to a new crystalline body of light within the rising and anchoring divine union, love, and peace. Astraya's website is www.astraya.org. Astraya experienced a near-death experience. She pursued unconditional love and otherworldly realities, metaphysical studies. Her mission is to secure others with light within. She's followed the priestess path, initiating women into their sovereign divinity, sexual birthright, and sacred expression. And before we bring her on, I want to tell everyone, if you go to her website, you can see her courses and mentorships. One is the Sorcerer's Course, which is an 8-week divine feminine activation and one-on-one private mentorship. All right, let's bring her on right now. Astraya, are you there? Hello? Astraya? Hello? Are you there, Michael?
I am here. I'm here.
Okay, so I can hear her.
Somewhere in the realm of blog talk.
Here we go. Where is she? I just hit the button. Let's see if I put her out and then bring her back in, see what happens. Astraya? Hello? All right. Okay. Let's see why I can't hear her. Oh, let's see. I'm here. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You can hear me. Okay. All right.
We're going to just telepathically communicate, and we'll tell you what you say.
Can you call in? Can you call in? And I will text you. Yes, she said telepathy. Sure. I don't know. We all know that this is what happens here. And, she's coming from London, so I'm going to shoot her the phone number. And she can, yes, hang up and try back, and I'll send you the number. All right, everyone. Well, we know that this will work out because this always happens.
And we're in the midst of the eclipse, powerful, aggressive energy. And the psychic energy just manifests and magnifies that, and then we have electrical interference.
Okay,
and what's interesting, while we're waiting for Astraya to call in, I'll share. No, what's interesting, we're talking about electrical interference. I had a very interesting happening over I was doing private readings over the past week, and I had.
Astraya, are you there? Oh
my
gosh.
Oh.
Nope.
Well, what's interesting is I started having all weird electrical occurrence, and it was, I don't know if you heard about like that Verizon outage, and Verizon nationwide had an outage, but I had like several people coming to me from all different areas, and actually people coming from out of state that like their GPS and everything went down. And the crazy thing was they were still able to find it. So someone, the one woman had told me she had used an old map she had found in her car. And fortunately, I guess I gave good enough landmarks that they were able to find my studio. But interesting, electrical interference all over, and it's been something that's been pretty prominent.
I'm going to try calling her.
Okay.
Because will it let me call London? Let's find out. Do I have to dial a 1 to do London? What do you think?
1 is usually the U.S., so you might have like a 3-digit or like an O2 international code or something. I'm not sure. Just don't say her number out loud.
Oh, is that what I'm doing right now?
Australia, we're gonna announce your number, and don't worry, you won't have too many people calling you.
Okay, let's see. It's dialing. It failed or was not answered. Oh, come on. This is not good. What the heck? I gave her the link. I don't know what happened. Oh, my gosh.
Well, can't see if she can call back in, or... So anyone that's listening, we are trying to get our wonderful host Astraya back on, International Divine Feminine Mentor, Angelic Oracle, and Medicine Channel. So we are trying to get her on. She's calling in from England. So whether there's a telephone connection
can you hear us?
We don't know, or maybe this is her now.
Hello? See, Astraya can hear us. We can't hear her. All right, I'm going to go in. I'm going to see if I can put her in the green room and see what happens. If I can go in the green room.
So what's up, everyone? I hope everyone's having a good night. Everyone's enjoying this crisp fall weather, the beautiful beginning of October, changing of the leaves. Here on the Jersey Shore, it's been pretty interesting. We're having some warmer days, really cooler nights, but I think it's really shaking up nature a little bit. I've had a lot of leaves dropping very quickly, and I'm still trying to adjust to these really early nights. Tonight, right a few minutes after 7, it's already dark. But I think going into this period of time and these energetic shifts, the interesting thing, what I like to talk to people about, is don't get complacent. We start thinking about the holidays. We start thinking about celebrating the end of the year, all these different things. A lot of times the work year and projects are coming to completion. But what I tell people
is...
can we hear her? We're not hearing her yet?
No. I mean, even in the green room, I couldn't hear her. Do I have to do anything else? It's
good
saying
time to manifest projects.
In, Michael, when you've called in, is there anything else you have to do?
When I call in from the computer, I'm hooked up, with my microphone, my headphones actually into my computer, and I'm just hitting a button. It dials up, and I hear Blog Talk. But calling in, no, normally I just call in, and then I can hear you, and you have to unmute me, and then once you unmute me, you can hear me. So I guess you might have to look for her phone number then and try to unmute her. I'm not sure. Or we can ask a question and she could type it to you and then you could just read her answer. I'm kidding, but we will find a way to make it work. We always do.
We will. So she said she took the headphones out, so she's going to call back in without the headphones, and that might be what's going on. You know, sometimes the technology, she's calling back because I had them in the first time. Okay. So you know what? This is life, right? This is technology. We'll figure it out because I really want to bring her on. She's amazing. All right, let's try.
Hello?
Hi, there you are.
I think we can hear you now.
Hi.
Hello, Astraya. How are you?
I'm very well. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing because I can hear everything you're saying, and it's like, please God, just please allow my voice to come through.
And I'm so glad we can hear you because you have a very cool voice. I love your accent, and you would be phenomenal to listen to, like narrating a book. I do. I'm just enthralled by the tone of your voice.
Seriously? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is. So I'm very glad we have you.
Oh,
yeah.
So now you're calling in from, what is it, London?
So I had to marry Amy over the text that I'm in the UK, but I'm actually in South Wales, which is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with South Wales. That's where the dragon and all the theories kind of originate from. I always laugh about it, and people are like, oh yeah, Wales, you know, that's where all the folklore and all the legends are. So that's where I was originally born, and I'm actually done a full cycle. I'm here again after traveling and pilgrimaging around the world. I'm currently here back in my birth homeland, so super cool to be here. Yeah, so it's about 2.5 hours from London, just to give everyone like an idea of where it actually is, how far from London.
And we appreciate you doing this because we know how late it is. What time is it now in your time zone?
So it's now 12:52 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. We did not know this was a message.
I actually quite a night owl anyway. I definitely come alive at night, so it's absolutely fine. But I was laughing again, chuckling at myself because I swear that Mary Amy said that it was 7:30 a.m. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's 12:30 my time, no problem, you know. And then I'm thinking to myself, last night I kind of clicked, check time. I'm sure one of my little angels tapped me on the shoulder and was like, you need to be there, so you need to check the time. So I checked in. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, the stars aligned and we are all here together, and it's going to be a fantastic show. We're so excited to have you with us tonight.
Oh, thank you. I'm like super stoked to be here. It's been a while since I've actually connected with you, Mary Amy, and it's lovely to meet you as well. How long ago was it that we actually talked? I'm like,
you know what? I'd have to look back at it. It might be 2 years.
Gosh, it feels forever, doesn't it?
It might be 2 years. It was, you had gone through some stuff, and I think you moved, and and so I want to say, because if I think back in my mind, I was doing a series of videos, and you were one of my guests, and you just have this way about you that actually opens others up in them, within themselves, and your guidance. And I remember we did an exercise related to the womb, our womb, and it was beautiful. And you have such an elegant way of speaking and explaining and sharing your experiences. Would you like to start by explaining, or if you would, tell us how you found your way? I said initially that you had a near-death experience, and then you were always searching through, I guess, metaphysical information and other worldly realities.
Gosh, it was so thank you for inviting me on here as well, and just opening up the floor, and for allowing me to share my voice and my story. It was a couple of things. It wasn't just one, always several, and they continue. They never stop. It's like a complete cyclical dance of evolutionary awakening. But I want to speak into the two, particular one when I was half. So I can only recollect what I can recollect because I was so young. So a lot was shut down in the physical sense at that time to protect myself. But at the same time, a lot was opened up in the astral. Since then, since that near life death experience, I had lots of psychic channels of light just open up for me, and a lot of contact. I was visited by angels, by archangels, by light beings, not from Earth, and that just became the norm for me. That I related more to offside bound planetary beings to earthbound beings, and so they were kind of like my friends. So I kind of lived in this imaginary world for quite some time, since 2.5 to 7, 8, and then coming into 7, 8, I started to ground a little bit into my body. But I always felt estranged. I always felt different, indifferent. I always felt the entity of this planet to be very overwhelming, and at the time, I struggled. I struggled to be here on Earth. I literally would have dreams, overwhelming dreams, where I would literally wake up in tears, like praying to go back home. That continued for a while, and then when I started getting into my teens, I started exploring myself, becoming a woman, and I started dancing then. I was a very avid dancer. I started becoming more aware of like my body. And there was this overwhelming urge from young to leave home. So one of my wounds, which is carried all throughout my life actually, is being the fear of belonging, the fear of isolation, the fear of not fitting in, and this alienated, sort of estranged lone wolf wound. And I came through into my initiation of meeting the divine feminine oracle, meeting the divine feminine spirit. I came to her with this: I don't belong here on this planet. I need you to help me feel my feet on your body of earth. And I knew, somehow I knew, like, feminine was calling me. Somehow there was a voice was calling me, and it took me all over the world. I think I left home 22, I believe I was. I was 22 when I finally just said, you know what, I need to go. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. I know there's a strong urge to serve. There's a strong urge to explore my intuitive gifts, because it was all discombobulated. I had all these extra sensory gifts. Yeah, I didn't know how to like manage it and channel around it. And so the feminine has been a profound tool for me, because the feminine is all about the body. It's all about coming into the body. She calls you down and in versus up and out, whereas I lived very much in the ethers, in the astral realm for a long time. Probably up until I was 27, 28, I didn't really come into the physical plane. I was always checking out. I was always leaving my body. I was always, let me ascend up was kind of more safe for me. That's all I kind of knew, was to ascend up and out and check out. And I was very safe in the angelic realm. So when I started to feel the core of the feminine, and she...
Astraya, I don't want to interrupt you. I think that you might be it pops every few words, like every couple sentences. Maybe stand back a little bit from the mic so that, I don't know if you're on the phone, so that it's not popping, so we get everything you're saying. Sorry for interrupting you. I just didn't want anything to get lost.
Not a problem. Is that clear now? Maybe a little bit clearer? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Just let me know.
I think it sounds a little clearer now. We're getting a little pops between a couple words here and there, so I think it sounds like it's not happening.
If need be, I can put my headphones in, if that helps.
That sounds better, just where you are right now. I think sometimes this happens when if someone speaks really fast, it happens as well, but it might be just the sensitivity of the technology. So I'm sorry, continue. We would love to hear the rest of what you have to say.
So I was talking about how the feminine was calling me. And when I started to really exchange sort of direct dialogue with the spirit of the feminine, I realized the power in the being coming home into the body. And when I started practicing embodied, allowing myself to feel all of my feelings, allow myself to sort of anchor down and in, I came into union with my womb. And I realized my womb was holding all of this trauma, was holding all of this abandonment, was holding all of these scars and these wounds of my 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 2.5-year-old little being who had these fears and these insecurities. And I was able to really sit with myself and all of those feelings, be with all of those unmet needs, be with all those pieces that didn't quite necessarily have the tools or the experiences to channel them and to give them a voice. And then I went deeper again and deeper again, and then I started to hear the haunted memories of my unhealed ancestors and the women that came before me that spoke of just hard trauma. I started to hear the voices of my own ancestors when I started to commune with the womb. And all these women, like these voices, they were almost like voices of the past that were almost like haunting in a way. And then I started to feel this direct call, like you are being called to serve the feminine. You are being chosen to stand as a guardian of feminine resurrection of the planet. It was so weird that it sent truth shivers down my spine. God shots. There were synchronicities. There were floodgates of feminine mentors and men just coming into my physical space. Once I heard that call and said, okay, I fully surrender. Show me what I need to do. Guide me to who I need to be around. Show me. I'm fully surrendering. I'm here for you. And when I fully declared that full 100% yes, I am here. I am present. I'm listening. I'm going to do whatever it takes for you to use me as your channel, as your instrument. That's when the work started to channel through me. And when I say the work, what I mean by that is the initiations, the full body initiations, the full body experiences. I went through a tremendous amount of death and rebirth. I mean, horrifying death, like excruciating pain, to hold the gift of being a guardian for women. It takes courage. It takes you're a doula. You know, you literally are wifing these women through self-liberating, self-initiating, self-awakening rites of passage. And it really is profound and otherworldly to hold space for that. And so every challenge that I've gone through, I've had to live through not only my own wounds, also the wounds of ancestors, and clear that and alchemize it and transmute it. And there's a transfiguration that I've had to go through in order to reach the next octave of ascension. And in the beginning, I was wobbly. I was like, whoa, this is different. And now I'm never going to say I'm a master, but I've come to a space in my life where I embrace void, I embrace the darkness, I surrender it, I welcome it, because we're all going to have ups and downs. There's always going to be a spiral. Life is never one flat plane. You know, I think humans would be bored if it was, even if they secretly would, you know, want that. If we were hand given a platter of everything that we wanted, and it was there without sort of that, they really would be bored. We need the climb, because the climb is where the wisdom is gathered, and where we earn our own graduation in our spiritual awakening. You know, it's a spiral. It's a spiral dance. And in my experience, not to exclude the masculine, because the masculine is incredibly needed on this planet. And without the masculine and the feminine, there is no union. And I speak of polarity, especially in my written statement that you should, not as something to work against. It's something we need to unify, polarity. I stand for unification. That is a very big value within to unify. It's to bring unity and to bring balance and harmony, because our world is just, it's a shit show. It's chaotic right now. However, it's chaotic because there's a divine design, and we have to go through that chaos for us to reach enlightenment. If we'll ever fully get there, this is what we signed up for. This is what we've chosen. We believe that we are resurrecting, and we are also being put through a pressure washer of everything that is not ours, everything that is foreign, everything that is of a lower density that has purged. We cannot evolve if we're carrying those heavier densities. And so what I love about the feminine is she's a rebirth oracle of love. So she's going to love you fiercely. She's going to shake you like a volcano, like an earthquake. It's in her nature to regenerate, and it's in her nature to rebirth. And she's going to spit out of love, and she's going to rebirth you back into wholesome unification of why you came here to be, who you came to be, and your divine mission that you're meant to align to on the planet. And that's been my direct experience with the feminine. It's been very embodied, and it's allowed me to transcend in a much more whole and integrated space versus a more flighty, out-of-body space. I think when we're in our bodies and we feel safe in our bodies, we're able to hold that much more. A lot of us check out quite quickly when we're triggered by wounds. And what the feminine will do, she's going to hold you, she's going to cradle you, she's going to mother you back, and you're going to cry through those. You're going to feel so unconditionally loved and so held that you're going to feel a whole new resonance within your nervous system that feels safe. And that is the key that most women really struggle with, because they'll be in a agenda linked to their sexuality. There's always been an agenda linked to their voice, linked to their secrets, linked to their silence, which is why women are advised, why they're vilified, why they're a subject of threat, because they carry the chalice within them, the codes of rebirth and awakening, and they are the gatekeepers and the guardians that are going to take this earth to the next level. It's the feminine that's going to birth the planet, and the masculine is going to witness and hold the consciousness of the feminine to rise. And together they hold those to the unification, which is it's genius. This is godly. This is, no human created this. This God designed.
That's fascinating. Astraya, what I find most fascinating on people's spiritual journey is that moment that really, when that shift occurs and we know this is my life's path, this is what my soul is calling me to do. Now, we know you had a near-death experience. Like for you, and talking about your childhood, and obviously you were spiritual and you saw energy, you saw the spiritual realm, you connected to some degree from a very young age. I'm always curious of people's journey in their spiritual enlightenment of when the actual shift occurred. Would you say when the near-death experience occurred, was that when you really saw things differently? Did that put things into perspective, or was it just another piece that kind of magnified the journey you were already on, or was that the significant point where everything shifted?
I think because I was so young, I was 2.5, so I can't recollect the actual experience, but what I can remember, I remember being in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and seeing 3 beings, and I knew they were from the Pleiadian star system. I just knew, and I felt my dad's hand squeezing my hand so tightly, and I remember this, and the reason why I remember it because I had this recurring dream over and over and over and over again, and in that moment I kind of made that. I made that choice that we are not just of this planet. I chose to believe that. I chose to believe that those beings were here for us. They weren't a threat. They emitted love. They emitted that they're here to support us. I felt that. I did not make that up. That just was, the unconditional love and light. They beamed at me. They were here for me, and they knew that I was going to survive this, And in that moment, I'm like, wow, I have another family. I have a star family here, not just my earth family, And so that moment there made me pursue that with devotion. Like I knew in that moment, I'm going to seek this, and I'm going to understand what this is about. And I knew I was also meant for something bigger other than the path that I was on all my life. There was something bigger, and I was able to feel other people's sorrow to such a depth that I was like, almost, I remember saying out loud, why are you giving me all this emotion to feel? What do you want me to do with it? How am I going to take this on? And it was like, I would just break down because it was so big. I was like, how do you expect me to carry all of this? Because when you're little and you're feeling all of this energy, what do you do with it? And so those awarenesses kept pushing me. It was like a force. It was just like, because once you see, you cannot not see what you see, So it was, and I just happened to enter to each window of awakening that was in front of me. I was like, okay, I've got that key. Let's move to the next. And what I love about the feminine is that she slowed me down. She helped me integrate it. She's like, slow down, be with us a little bit more. Half of humanity are on a rat race. They're rushing. They're distracting themselves, and they're not receiving the nuggets of wisdom that life. And I just happened to have chosen that path that slowed me down and allowed me to integrate it, which then gave me the ability to create safety for my body and then to create for others.
Astraya, while you were speaking, I had this visceral reaction to your energy, and I was basically hearing to surrender to my intuition, and I've had not a lack of confidence, but something has been telling me, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And now I trust that I have discernment in my choices and more confidence. And what you said gave me more understanding of myself. So I appreciate you explaining your journey and how things have been happening for you, because it just helped me so much.
Oh. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad that landed for you. I love how, especially in the sister community, once we sit in a circle and each one speaks, and I see this often, you know, a sister will speak into the circle, and that sister, her voice will create a ripple effect like a sorceress web, and that then sends a shiver of truth into another sister circle, and she gets activated, because our wombs are telepathic portals of communication. And so when a woman speaks, not only is she speaking through a voice, she's speaking through a womb. And which is why woman to woman, womb to womb, moon to moon is so, it blows my mind. And so I really acknowledge you and hear you.
I remembered while you were speaking also how we initially connected, which was, it could have been as far back as it was between 2008 and 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some kind of project, and I reached out to you, and I remember finding you, and then years later I reconnected to you, and I know that you are calling out to me. Your energy, you know, your vibration is so powerful that it called out to me. And you have that gift. You have this very cosmic gift, and I hear you when you say star family, and I felt your pain from your ancestors, and I could see it. I could see what the pain was and how it went down. And I don't even know if you're from this world, because you're many lifetimes ago, or I don't know how you got here, but you're a spokesperson. You're a spokesperson and a conduit for, I think, what's to come and what has been.
Wow. Thank you. You know, I feel that we all have these gifts, you know. I feel like you're a visionary, and there's so many gifts that you embody as well, Mary Amy. I feel like we all have these phenomenal gifts. And I think what holds us back is our fear, is imposter syndrome, is if especially for women as well. And I speak a lot in women and for women, because they're part of my mission is to serve them. So of course I'm going to speak into them, but I'm not excluding the men. So I just want to preface that.
I like that.
Oh, there's a popping.
What I was going to say is, you know, I've worked with so many women, and there's this throat lock that I speak into. Because most women, there's a locking of the throat that energetically and physically actually happens when she's about to speak or access a part of her medicine and her magic and her gifts. And the throat and the womb are one of the same. If you look at them, if you look at the anatomy of your throat and your womb, they look exactly the same. And so if the womb is shut, she will struggle to speak. And there's so many lifetimes of her being stoned to death. There's so many lifetimes of her being silenced, of being gagged. So there's a lot of ancestral pain that's connected to women speaking their truth and sharing their light with the world. They're carrying, when we think of the witches' trials and all of these memories of being persecuted and of her life being at risk, not only her own life but her family's and her neighbors. There's a lot at stake when a woman goes into a path. And one of the most beautiful things in this lifetime is, though, that there is a lot more freedom now. And so we have to kind of retrain our bodies. And so with me, rather than me just telling you this, I'm going to show your body what it feels. So your mind is going to come second. Your body is going to lead. Mind follows. And that's how we work with the feminine. We work on a somatic level, and we unlock those gateways of magic and medicine that has been suppressed and repressed for decades. So it's really relevant for me to share that with what you're saying, and what you're speaking into, because we're not only holding back the gift of what's happening within this lifetime, we're actually holding on to intergenerational trauma from the priestesses and the men in our ancestral line that were also troubled with trauma and feared to dance, feared to speak up, feared to share their medicinal powers. And so that is a big piece of just the heaviness of the gifts of the feminine as well. Yeah.
Astraya, would you like to do a short exercise to bring forward or unlock some expression? I know in the past you've done that. I don't know if you're up for that this evening.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and let me remind you to stay back from the microphone so that we don't, because I'm not going to interrupt you, and I don't want it to pop. So just make sure that you sit back a little bit.
Okay, it's a bit better.
Okay.
I think when you're sitting back, it just picks up a little better, and it's not popping. I think the signal might be getting a little too much for the microphone when you're up close to it. It definitely sounds much cleaner signal. Yeah, much cleaner signal when you're sitting a little farther back. Well, one thing I'd like to say before we get into the meditation and what you're gonna walk us through, I find it very interesting that you talk about the integration of the feminine and the masculine. So I'll tell you, that's one thing I saw, like in my own development of my mediumship and my psychic abilities, and it was truly opening to both the feminine and the masculine aspects of ourself and just the energies that are around us. And I think anyone out there that's listening to us and truly wants to do energy work, wants to be a healer, wants to be, a medium, or truly wants to do this divine work and wants to help others, I think we have to open and attune ourselves to all the energies around us. And like you said, we're integrating the feminine and the masculine. And if someone is blocked on one or the other, I mean, they're just doing themselves a disservice to not tune in and be open and allow, all the energy to fully manifest in us. And I truly believe that's when our soul's calling will kind of shine, and it'll steer us and it'll guide us when we have that balance and that integrated energy in us. And I think that's part of the path, is trying to find a way to integrate it. So yeah, truly appreciate what you're talking about. I truly appreciate you being here tonight. And it's, I think for anyone, I think that's part of the process, is trying to open and tune into all aspects of the feminine and the masculine, and naturally we'll be more balanced or, more push to one than the other, just as a society and growing and different, the self-limiting beliefs that are put on us, or, the societal norms, and you're meant to do this, that can block us from opening and tuning in. But what I see is some of the greatest art, the greatest music, the greatest, construction, like things where people are truly tapping into the absolute feminine and the absolute masculine energy, and they're combining that and creating something new and beautiful from it that we wouldn't else know or wouldn't else find if we can't look for both aspects of ourselves.
Absolutely. I really of all the trainings, the genres and the subjects of spiritual awakening that I have explored, that I've researched, I will hands down say what has created me is divine union within, and also divine will with God, like not coming from a place of lack, not seeking from a place of lack, but building my trust, my relationship with God, building my trust and my relationship with the holy masculine, building my trust and my relationship with the holy feminine within me, knowing that I am utterly and 1 trillion % provided for when I choose to align with the will of God and with the highest will of mission here on the planet. And when we can look at the wounded masculine, and when we can look at the wounded feminine, and be honest with ourselves and confront the fears, confront the grief, and not only confront it, but just hold it, be with it. Release the expectation that you have to be perfect. Release the expectation that you have to be 100% just healed. You know, we are divine in our imperfections. We are divine in our wounds. And if we can hold our wounds with devotion and love and trust and have faith that God's doing for us every step of the way, and I can guarantee if you look back on your life and you question all of the times that you fell, that you collapsed, that you felt alone, you came through it somehow. You may not know how you came through it. God pulled you through that. God pulled you through that collapse. Somehow you came through it. And sometimes we forget because we're human. We just forget. So we have to sort of, have a little chat with the inner brat, or, that the one that wants things yesterday. Well, sometimes it takes a little time. It takes a little time. And that's the integration process. We have to go through a period of preparation. It doesn't happen overnight. If you want something bad, then you've got to be prepared, and God will make sure that you are going to go through your preparation process. Because if you get the thing that you always wanted and you're not prepared, you're going to lose the damn thing within a couple of days. So you may as well go through the preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said.
Yeah. So unification is the most direct. The unification of the masculine and feminine, for me, is the most direct pathway to freedom, to peace, to joy, to pleasure. If we can come into wholesomeness with those two aspects of ourselves, we're going to see an incredible difference in how we operate on this. And we're also going to see a huge impact we shift and relate to others. And not only are you're going to illuminate, the people around you are going to feel the benefit of that too, because you're more whole and at peace within.
Yeah, and I think that's how it unfolds. We become a beacon of light, and then hopefully we can shine that light and spread that light and spread that divine throughout, and it could be small steps. That's smart. It starts very near to us, friends, family, but, it just expands and it grows. And I think if more and more people can tune in and kind of get into this movement, I think the whole world, we are seeing an awakening and we are seeing a change. But I do feel as we push forward and we start being of service and be those beacons of light, we can I think it'll just positively grow and manifest and magnify. And absolutely. It starts from within. It grows, it flourishes, and then hopefully it transcends our entire society. I think that's what I pray for. I pray that I'll at least see the implements of this awakening and this change happen, even if we don't see it come to full fruition in my lifetime. I hope that each and every one of us can be that beacon of light and implement and instill that change around us.
Yeah. Amen. I hope.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Astraya, so what would you recommend? So now, as far as doing a meditation, balancing the energy, kind of trying to get ourselves in alignment, what would be your recommendations? And what before you take us through a meditation, can you tell us just a little bit of some of your daily practices and rituals and things that you do to stay aligned and keep learning and growing?
Yeah, I give myself permission to be the full spectrum of all of my expressions. So if I feel myself abandoning my soul, I check in, because I can tell if I'm constricted or if I'm holding back a little bit. If my body isn't supple and loose, I can immediately feel it. So I have an embodiment practice every day. I move my body, and I move it in a feminine way. I don't move it with like linear lines. I move circularly, in circular motion. So I often allow what moves come through intuitively versus I'm going to sit on my mat at this time. It's going to be, I tend to move away from linear practice. So I don't try to have strict lines, strict routine. I'm very fluid, and I'm very intuitive with how I show up. And that to me gives me freedom, because then I'm not sort of putting myself in a box.
Yeah, that's so you're not trying to control it. You're literally like kind of letting go and letting it flow, and what comes to you is kind of how it manifests. You're not trying to control it, right? I think that's a good recommendation for all of us. I think that's one thing that we get caught up with when we're trying to do a spiritual practice or meditate. We tend to not get in the flow, and we try to control the situation. So I think that's great. Anyone listening, that's right there. I think I like that. Let go of that control and get into the flow, be in the zone. That's absolutely true.
And again, this is going back to the feminine energetic design: cyclical, circular, listening to the intuition, allowing yourself to be soft through the practice, not rigid, not hard, not I'm doing this to create a result, which a lot of us tend to do. I'm meditating to get something. What if you just meditated just to be and breathe in your body so you can slow down? That is key. Another practice is devotion. Devotion, so easy to do a practice with devotion and presence. Do you really want to be there? Because if you don't really want to be there, then what's the point in being there? So we've got to allow our bodies to show us they really want to be there right now. Because if we don't, then don't do it. Just don't do it. Go out to nature. Do something else. Like listen to your heart. Let your heart guide you. I find that for me, when I don't feel like meditating today, I won't. I don't want to sit on my mat. I won't do it. I'll go out to nature. I'll do something else. I'll go spend time with animals, or I change it up a little bit. I definitely pray. That's something that for me is like, that is my one and only. I have to pray. When I pray, codes get unlocked. I feel my connection to source. I'm able to listen, downloads. Prayer is big. I feel like we need to pray out loud. I know it can be scary at times because we're using our voice, but it doesn't have to be this poetic, prolific sort of like hierarchy prayer. It can be really basic and general. Again, it's like releasing the expectation of what it should look like. And when you can do that and just be in truth, be in authentic relation with your body at that time and what your body needs, I feel there's more of a loving relationship that can come through within your practice. I think prayer, my body, sound, for me are the three sort of go-tos. And again, that's a feminine practice. When we can move energy through sound, it's very direct. So we start to sort of like clear out any blockages with sound, with movement. We just really allow the body to sort of unhinge what knots and crooks and crannies may be sort of hanging around, because sometimes we gather other people's energy and we take that home with us. So shake it off, make some big sighs, make some sort of, cries, wails, whatever it is that you need to do to just move the energy. Get out in nature, put your bare feet on Mother Earth, and it's so powerful. You know, the magnetic keys of the earth can bring us back into harmony, can bring us back into the resonance of the magnetic frequency of the earth heart, and that is very self-regulating. I mean, I've got so many practices, but I think to keep it, you know, basic and sort of foundational, and rather than sort of making it sound all fancy, I think let's just keep it simple, keep it grounded, keep it rooted, so that you're not sort of getting lost. You're just showing up and allowing yourself to have the freedom to be where you currently are at and arrive in that moment. I think if we can start there with allowing ourselves to be authentic, that can be a breakthrough in itself.
No, that's fantastic. I think that's great advice for anyone listening to not hold these high expectations on yourself. You know, let go, get into the flow. Don't have these expectations, and allow that divine feminine energy to transcend through you, you know. And no, it's a beautiful thing. And I think if more people would start to tune in, especially men, you know, it's funny because I think that was one of the biggest things for me growing up in a very traditional household where, you know, I was involved in a lot of sports and a lot of masculine things. And, you know, the feminine side, you know, you don't cry, you know, you don't let those emotions out, you know, you have to stay strong. And it's funny because I think it just, when we look at that, it's so one-sided. And looking back at it now, I think about my energetic journey, and it was when I started embracing those emotions and I started sitting with those emotions and feeling those emotions and not letting those emotions harness me, but learning to harness those emotions and allow that feminine energy. And it's really when I started finding balance, and it's really when my spiritual growth, I would say, just, you know, completely, it just magnified and started manifesting in such a profound way. So that's what I would say to any guy out there. You know, if you think you need to be strong and not show emotions, well, that's societal norms. You know, just it's nonsense. I think for anyone, and even the women out there that, you know, that aren't totally tuned into that feminine energy because of the societal norms, and women weren't allowed to speak their mind or, you know, talk what they needed to say. I think now the society, as crazy as it is of what we see going on, I have to say the point we are where women can truly be empowered and create and be entrepreneurs and, you know, and have those opportunities. It's so much more value can come to us as a society. I think so much more growth can come to us as a species when we can, you know, like you said, when we can integrate. And that's what I think it is, opening to that energy that maybe we're afraid to feel, you know, from a man. You know, I'm speaking from the male perspective, and I think lots of guys are afraid to feel that feminine energy, when that'll truly tune us into what we need to see and what we need to feel. And, you know, it's so important. So anyone out there, when we're just tune in, you know, no expectations, and don't think that small steps each and every day aren't going to compound into something beautiful in your life, because it truly is. And I think each and every one of us, I think Astraya, I think Mary Amy, myself, we can all vouch for the fact that, you know, it's not always easy. There's going to be bumps in the road, and we're going to have to navigate some chaotic times. But when we persevere and we transcend through that, and we can find that feminine energy, we can find that masculine energy, we can integrate them, the most amazing things can happen, and the most amazing things can manifest in our life when we can balance that, and, you know, and truly find that divine space within.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's so good just hearing and just hearing, you know, this wisdom coming from a man, coming from male energy. It's magnetic. I think women find men who are tapping into their femininity so much more magnetic than a man who's rigid and sort of like stern in just one side of his being. Like, there's so much more untapped, creative, magnetic, juicy energy available to you that again will just like take your evolution to another level. And if it's something that's completely out of your comfort zone, seek support. Like there's so many Brotherhood of Light communities now. There's like Sacred Sons, and there's all these divine masculine warrior king groups that are just like helping these men evolve and grow and be held as well, and be held through their pain, be held through their mother wounds and their father wounds. And it's absolutely, it moves me to tears. Like I am so inspired by men who are on evolutionary awakening paths, because we need these men to rise into their kingship, to their warriorship. Women need men as much as men need women. Like we need each other. Like we are magnetic to each other for a profound reason. We were designed that way, and it's in our holy responsibility to come together at a place of divinity versus woundedness. And I think that is a direct sort of like pathway to enlightenment, is true unification from sacred union, from sacred marriage.
Yeah,
Astraya,
absolutely.
would you like to end with, because I know it's almost an hour you've been on here, would you like to end with giving us some kind of, some kind of meditation with connecting to ourselves, activation, whatever you deem important?
Sure. I have a drum here. I was wondering if you can hear it, maybe. Let me see if it, because sometimes drum doesn't go through on the computer, but let's see if it is going to just sound out for you. If it doesn't, then it pops. That's fine. We can just use my voice as well. But let's just let me know what it sounds like.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We can hear it. We can hear it.
We can hear that drum. Hit it.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I can hear you howling now, Mary.
You're awesome. I'm loving on you. I love you.
Okay. So wherever you are, and if you're listening, make sure you're in a safe place. No driving and meditating, or just listening right. And just close your eyes for those of you who are sat at home. Maybe one hand to your womb, your receiving hand. So that's the hand that isn't your dominant hand. So the receiving hand on your womb. You may not have a physical womb, but you definitely have an energetic center. So that's just a centimeter below your belly button. And then your dominant hand, I'm going to place that on back. And just become aware of your breathing, of your breath. Just notice if you're breathing shallow. Notice if your breathing is more fast or more slow. Just take an unconditional bird's eye view of your very own presence right now. I'd like you to breathe and take a deep breath into your womb space and fill your belly up like mothering, balloon belly. Fill your hand with your belly on the inhale. And on the exhale, send your belly back towards your spine. So inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly falls. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly falls. Feel your shoulders drop and release. Relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears. Coming into this present moment. Give yourself the permission to turn off the outside world for a moment. And there is just you, yourself, your body, your higher self, and just the sound of my voice guiding you into a deeper space. And we're going to call on the feminine energy now. You're going to realize a beautiful bright light coming down from the sky and up from the earth. And those two bright lights are going to meet in the center of your womb, right below your belly button. And there's a flickering orb that is spinning on an axis in a clockwise direction at the center of your womb. And it's just ticking over an oracle, a light being of hope, of wisdom. You're going to feel the voice of the feminine speaking softly, existing from the beginning of time. And she whispers to you, I dwell here in the silence of your womb. I am the immeasurable silence. I descended from the mist of the underworld, and I shine down upon the darkness. It is I who birthed and poured forth the water. I am the one hidden in the radiant waters. I am the image of the invincible spirit. I am the womb that gives shape to all of life by giving birth to the light that shines in splendor. I am the womb that birthed you from the beginning of time. I am the womb that which birthed you. And I am the womb that is what will return you back to the source of all creation. Just feeling that pulse within the womb. Feel that bright white light now at the base of your womb. In this moment, I'd like you to connect to an ancestor within your lineage. All you have to do is open your heart and just reach out. And we're going to kind of call forth a well and healed ancestor within your timeline. And it can either come through in a masculine sense or a feminine sense. And you're going to feel the presence of this ancestor standing behind you. And this ancestor places a hand on the back of your shoulder. And they say out loud, dear son, I come here to share my gift with you. I come here to offer my wisdom. I come here to share my presence. And in that moment, you open the wings behind your ear back. You wrap their wisdom around you. You take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you allow your body to receive this transference, this energetic transference of their mission from their spirit into your spirit. And on the exhale, take a nice deep breath out through the mouth. Sending their energy, their medicine back into the earth, send it all the way down into Mother Earth, the depths of Gaia, sending this medicine, seeing that medicine pour all the way down into the earth, sending it down through your womb. And on the exhale, I also imagine all that no longer serves you, all lower vibrational energy, sending it down, deep, deep down, through the opening of Gaia, through all of the mystical layers of the earth, all the way down there, through the heated molten lava, to the fires and the waters of the earth, sending it down, 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 down. Take a deep breath with me, inhale, and on the exhale, let a big sigh out and blow out through your mouth. Feeling that warmth in your womb, below your belly. Feeling that hand on the back of your heart where your ancestor made that imprint and shed all of their wisdom into your body. Giving it back to Gaia, giving it back to Earth, laying this medicine at her feet where it can be recycled, rebirthed, and renewed for the bigger collective of humanity and all beings and all creatures, the indigo children, the crystal children, all of the younger generations that are here to birth a new timeline, a new golden age. We thank you, we love you, we bow down to you, we leave this wisdom at your feet, and so is, and so shall it be. Aho. Amen. Amen.
Wow.
And just slowly coming back. Maybe wiggling your fingers, opening up your hands to the sky, taking a big stretch, reaching up to them, and then reaching down to the earth. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your feet, stretching your head from side to side, and just come back to the moment.
I feel like I'm part of a celebration.
You are. You're part of an energetic celebration.
I think so. That was amazing.
That was.
That was
Thank
a gift.
you so much,
that
Astraya.
was a gift, Astraya. That I'm going to play that back every day, until I have it memorized, basically. Because that was so inspiring and just creating a new energy, place, being.
New energetic
Plus your
space.
Words.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you so much. Is there, would you like to share before you go any last words or explanation of your services and your website for everyone?
Sure. You can go to my website on www.astraya.org, and you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'd be more than happy to connect with you on sistarsoflight.com. I am offering a beautiful womb wisdom retreat next year in Glastonbury. So if you are interested in coming on retreat and pilgrimaging to the Isles of Avon and the Avalonian Priestess, please reach out to me if that is called. We definitely would love to hear from you and talk a little bit more about that. I offer one-on-ones. I offer ancestral wound clearing sessions. What you just received then was kind of a little taste, but we go deep, and it can go 2 hours, 3 hours max. I would love to serve you and help you to liberate your voice, your creativity, sexuality, and allow you to just be and become what you can to be.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
I have so much gratitude you were here, and I appreciate your patience in coming on and sharing with our listeners, and we are all grateful, and you are a great example of a divine being, an enlightened being, and I guess you could say, a prophet. And I thank you. And I know it was late and it was a moment to get on, but everyone, I recommend Astraya, and you find her on her website. And I hope we see each other in person sometime soon.
We will, for sure. I'm sure that will happen.
We will. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Astraya. Thank you so much for sharing your story and that beautiful meditation. So can't wait. So when you're ready to come to the U.S., so then, you'll have to come out here and do an event with us, and then we'll have to head over to Wales. It's South Wales, right? South Wales.
Yeah, South Wales.
So and then we'll head over to you. We can do an event in the States, and then we'll do an event over there.
Let's love it. Let's happen. I'm so down. Let's make that happen.
Ready? I know Mary Amy's ready for the world tour. It's coming up soon.
I am. I'm so ready to keep moving. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait for traveling and pack a bag and get my passport out and let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Slapping, Mary Amy. I can see them and feel them slapping.
Thank you so much. And we'll stay in touch on Instagram and speak to each other soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And thanks for being on the show. I know it's a lot of devotion and work to keep the energy going and moving. I just want to thank you from my heart for just being in service and for helping me.
Thank you.
No, it's my mission. And by the way, quick question: were you speaking light language in there? Was that light language?
Yeah, it was the Divine Mother speaking. She insisted on doing some codes of light for you through sound. So, yeah, definitely feminine light language.
Loved it. Loved it. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Astraya. It was our pleasure. We loved having you on.
You do. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, she's unbelievable. Everyone, she's a beautiful being inside and out. Check out her website. I know tonight was, a little off our usual plan. We are not doing any callers. I know there was some that hung on. I'm so sorry.
We will definitely get the callers next week.
Yes, next week. We will definitely do the callers.
Next week, we will take a lot of callers next week.
We will take a lot of callers. And we have next week, everyone, we have Lou Martin, and he's coming from Ireland, and he's an intuitive and a channel. And you can actually find him on YouTube and Substack. And if you go after tonight, when we end tonight our live, you can go to the blogtalkradio.com/2psychics, and you will see a post about Lou Martin. Now, we have recently, and I know this is because of Michael Edley, we recently have now 240 followers on our Facebook page for Two Psychics Radio, so he must have been talking us up. And you can find so much about Michael Edley on his website, and you can reach out to him and get a private reading or find out about his events. And he's also a fabulous musician. On his website, michaeledley.com, my website, maryamyofficial.com, you can reach out to me and send me a message about my upcoming event at the Pelham Club, and we can set up a session for you. I'm doing 20 minutes and 40 minutes, and that is on November 1st and 2nd, which is a Friday and a Saturday. Also, find us on our Two Psychics Radio, and please like our Facebook page and our Blog Talk Radio. Everyone, thank you for calling in. Michael, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Mary Amy.
Oh, you're awesome. And
so are you.
I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week. And you rest up, and I'll rest up, Michael, and we'll be back here again next week, and we'll be taking callers, and we'll have a guest. And that's it. So everyone have a great night.
Take care, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.